Greetings from Tokyo, my dear friends. This is Daisuke, and I very much hope that this video finds you well and in very good spirits wherever you are in the world. And today, if you don't mind, I'd like to continue on with the wonderful viewer questions that you so very kindly submitted to this channel a few months back. So once again, my deepest gratitude and appreciation and thanks. Thank you so much for this, very much. Thank you very much. The next question is from our dear friend Eric Navarro. So Eric, it's always nice to hear from you, and I always enjoy our conversations. And you have this question, which is, are there any films that have grossed you out? For me, I've seen many gross films, in quotes, but the only one that made me feel sick was Nekromantik. Oh, interesting. By the way, I do remember the first time I was able to see the film Nekromantik, and Nekromantik 2 as well. It was from a video store in New Haven, Connecticut, and the person who's working there recommended Nekromantik and Nekromantik 2 to me, and so I rented the VHS tapes, and my goodness, what a memorable or unforgettable film watch experience those were. Really unforgettable in a lot of ways. So Nekromantik, and so they're not for everyone, but they have a very specific kind of aesthetic, and so they are certainly unforgettable in a lot of ways. So Eric, thank you very much for mentioning that. Now, as to your question, are there any films that have grossed you out? So I want to preface by saying there have always been films that have affected me in terms of my engagement or viewing of them, and whether that effect on me has been make me feel maybe squeamish, or I feel like this is maybe something that is disturbing or disgusting or repulsive or something of that sort. And I find that perhaps more often than not, or perhaps even more so than that, this is a specific design on the part of the filmmakers in question. In other words, at this particular moment in this particular film, the filmmakers are planning to, on purpose, create some kind of reaction of this kind on the part of the people who are watching the film at that particular point, for some reason or for some purpose. So I have, of course, had this feeling, an experience of feeling disgusted or feeling really repulsed by what I was seeing, and so then taking the film, therefore, taking that in the context of the film, then I try to see what it is that I feel overall in terms of that overall film watching experience. So this is my way of saying that for me personally, I don't necessarily find that the existence per se of such moments in a film will automatically turn me off to that particular work. I think there could be a grand design, or there could be maybe not a grand design, who knows, but it's more, shall we say, from my own perspective and my subjective engagement with the film, it's more quote-unquote food for thought, as it were. So it's a very interesting occasion whenever some moment or moments like that occur in a film that I'm watching in particular. So, but grossed out, I don't know if I felt sick, physically sick, or really to the point of feeling nauseous. I've never, to be perfectly honest, I don't think I've ever been at that point with a particular film, because I know perhaps that there's something going on that maybe I realize that there is some kind of special effect at play, or maybe there is the trick of the editing. The edit creates the illusion of cinema. I mean, this is one of the things about cinema that is so magical and so mysterious at the same time. There are many illusions that are taking place, at least in the context of narrative cinema. So I think perhaps in that, let's focus on that particular realm, so the narrative film, the fiction film, etc. So in this particular realm, I think while I wouldn't say that I felt sick or nauseous when I saw this particular film that I'm about to mention, I do admit to feeling very, very grossed out. But I think this is very much part of the grand design of the filmmaker in question. And this film is Pink Flamingos, John Waters' film Pink Flamingos. And there's a particular moment that occurs in Pink Flamingos with respect to the performance by the great, the one, the only, Divine in this film, Pink Flamingos. Now, as I say, this film is not for everyone. Maybe I've encountered here and there some comments from people over the years, maybe expressing either like or dislike with respect to some of the films of John Waters, and I totally get that. I completely get that. I find myself in the group of absolutely adoring John Waters' films. I think his films are magnificent. They are truly magnificent, and they are in many ways one-of-a-kind experiences. And I count Pink Flamingos in that. I remember the first time I saw Pink Flamingos not quite being prepared for what it was I was about to see. And when the first few minutes, I was thinking to myself, again, many, many years ago when I first saw it, I was thinking to myself, what is this? And then by the time the film ended, it was I was completely thrown off course. I was caught off guard. And so this is and many moments really made me, I was feeling quite disturbed, and it was like really gross what I was seeing. But that was the point. I realized that this was the point, or one of the points, of this brilliant, brilliant achievement by John Waters and company, which is oftentimes what's used in terms of a description of Pink Flamingos, an exercise in bad taste. But this is something that John Waters and company take as a sign of, they take it as a badge of honor. And this is so important in terms of the watching of Pink Flamingos, at least from my benefit or my vantage point, which is that the use of quote-unquote bad taste is used in a really effective and stylized way in the film Pink Flamingos, such that it becomes, in a retro way, in a very indirect way perhaps, or a very retro way, I should say, not indirect, indirect is a bad word to use here, but a retro way, in kind of reverse psychology sort of way, bad taste becomes good taste. It becomes a kind of cool thing from a manner of speaking. And it becomes a very, very, very art house independent thing, especially in the hands of John Waters during this period of his career. And so in the early 70s. And we know that this part, he has this command over the art and craft and medium of cinema that he's creating that is so wholly independent. It is so independent, and it is so very much his own, and the concept of the making film in the realm of the filmmakers, the Dreamlanders. And so this is one of those products. This is one of those artistic achievements in that period, Pink Flamingos. And so there is so much in terms of ideas and art that is going on. It may seem like it goes straight into the face of the convention, but that's part of the point, I think. It is so exciting because of its almost negating certain expectations of the genre and using that to its advantage. And that means also having people go into the film and then come out with a sense of being totally caught off guard and shocked. But it's all also in the sense of the spirit of this type of entertainment and a sense of comedy, and also a sense of calling attention to a lot of certain quirks of society, shall we put it, that might be in this film and other films by John Waters in his hands. He uses comedy, he uses quote-unquote bad taste, he uses maybe in the context of what might also be termed camp. For those who know The Simpsons, the TV show The Simpsons, and John Waters' guest appearance, that's one of the great episodes of that series, because he gives what is perhaps for my money, one of the most perfect examples of how to explain what camp is. Right, the tragically ludicrous or the ludicrously tragic, and so this is the point, I think, of a film like Pink Flamingos. Now, with all that established, there are some really gross out moments in there, but those gross out moments, I think, are there by design. They are there in order to gross out, in order to create this feeling or sensation on the part of the viewer, and it is all for the sake of the art. And so it becomes, in that way, wholly interactive. This is one of those really wonderfully peculiar and great examples of the true nature of cinema as an interactive art form. I mean, we watch Pink Flamingos, and we are truly affected by what we see, or at least I am. And so that is a mark of a type of a great film in that way. And also, I should say, too, that it shows we talk a lot about, for instance, say, the method acting and the actor studio and things of that nature, and really devoting. I'm not an actor, so I don't know the specifics of the craft, but there is a lot to be said about performances that are captured on screen, where the performer or the actor is really going for it. Really, really going for it. And so there is a lot of that. There is a lot of that on screen with many of the performers in this film, Pink Flamingos, including Divine, especially Divine, or perhaps in the spotlight, Divine. This really devoting so much for the sake of this performance, which is now captured for eternity in celluloid. And so this is a gross out moment. This is a gross out film for me, but that's part of the point, and I realize that, and I can go along with it. I really can. And it is one of the hallmarks for me of something that really affects me in a way that I think that's remarkable. That is truly remarkable. And there's a type of point or purpose, as I say, in the hands of John Waters and company. So that is something where I think I could probably use that as an example, Pink Flamingos, to answer the question. Every time I see it, wow, my heart rate increases a little bit as I get closer and closer to those particular famous or infamous moments in the film. So, as I say, it's certainly not for everyone, and I know it's not liked by everyone, but that's okay. That's absolutely okay. It is a film that is very memorable and unforgettable, and in the context of gross out films grossing me out, that is certainly one that I think had that effect and still does. And I think it's a brilliant film for that, as well as for other reasons. So, Eric Navarro, thank you so much for that wonderful question, and it's always a great honor for me to be able to speak with you, and I hope our conversations can continue for a long time to come. So anyway, my dear friends, thank you so much, and until we meet again, please be happy and healthy and well, and please keep on watching a lot of great, great movies. Thank you so much, as always, for your time. I very, very much appreciate it. Stay strong, stay safe, and cheers.